Welcome to Bigfoot
and The Bunny.
This is a couple's journey into the mysterious,
the unknown, and the paranormal.
I'm your host, Chris Carr.
And I'm your host, Kristen Johnson.
Together we are Bigfoot and The Bunny.
Welcome to Bigfoot and The Bunny. And
he's the bunny today.
You're wondering who is the Bigfoot and who is the bunny.
Oh, it's not even funny.
I think you know now. Secret's out.
There you go.
Happy All Hallows Eve. And this is our Halloween edition special for Halloween. Salmon. This was calling it on our Thursday show, which is called the Dark Horse Paranormal Podcast, which you can also find on your interwebs. And that's on Thursdays, 9 to 10 o'clock. And happy salmon.
All right.
I'm not going to go down that path. But
Thursday.
Actually, we do want to have some tricks and treats in store for you guys today. And we're all festive. We're in the mood. We haven't really slept for 2 days. Yeah. I don't know why, but
we don't know.
Yeah.
Incoming Emmys.
Might be a little giddy.
Things
could happen. And hit the cat button.
Oh, not again.
And I mentioned that because last year at this time when we did our Halloween special, we had almost the reverse outfit, but you had cat ears on. I wore the Yoda hat.
That's right.
And you had cat ears.
Blue pair of that, yes.
Because, wow. And this year I have the bunny ears on. So I've graduated to the bunny, and Kristen has graduated to Yoda. And we wanted to start the show off with a little treat. And this is Lucky Mojo brand money drawing oil. I'm going to hold this up to the camera and get a good look at this because they are unique in that they have a lot of ingredients. Like there are things floating in that bottle. There's quite a bit of stuff in there. There's a lot of herbs, and they put a lot of time and energy into making a really good quality product. We had the pleasure of interviewing Kat Ironwood, the owner of LuckyMojo.com. I think it was last year. And you can find that on a Dark Horse Paranormal Podcast. We have a YouTube channel that has both Bigfoot and the Bunny and the Dark Horse stuff on it. And that's Dark Horse Paranormal Podcast or Productions, I think, actually, what we're saying there with that.
Dark Horse Paranormal
Productions. And you can listen to that interview. It's got a gazillion downloads. Money drawing oil. So here's the deal. To get the treat, we only have one bottle of this. And actually won this from Lucky Mojo. So I thought we would pay it forward and give it away. They do a giveaway on Fridays. If you look them up, again, LuckyMojo.com. If you can tell us, and I'm going to do this via Gmail, who we interviewed last year in our Halloween special when we wore almost the reverse of what we're wearing today, send an email to Bigfoot and the Bunny, all one word, at gmail.com. And the first person who does that, I will send you this. I will ship this out to you. I'll let you know you want, and you can send me your address, and I will mail that to you. Money drawing oil. So like, what's better for Halloween, right? That's better than like a candy apple with a razor blade. Right. Anyways, as usual, we have a really good show for you guys this week. Our guest is June Lundgren, who is going to tell us about the dark side of the paranormal tonight, how to recognize the difference between demons, shadow people, negative earthbound spirits. She's going to discuss each of these creatures, their weaknesses, their fears, appearances, abilities, and how to get rid of them, if possible. June has been on our show before. She's a wonderful guest. We're excited to have her, so let's bring her on right now.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hey there.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Bigfoot and the Bunny. How are you?
Good to be back. Doing good.
Great. I already got a little chat out there. Honey from Arizona, psychic medium healer, Alexandra. Oh, yeah. Hi, there's Courtney, of course.
Hi, Courtney.
So, all right. How you been, June? What have you been up to?
Oh, been working, I'm a nurse, so I'm always busy. But a couple of weeks ago, went down to Las Cruces, New Mexico, did the Paracon, their first annual Paracon
Nice.
down
Oh,
there. It was fun. It was interesting. There was a lot of people there, and it was kind of odd because, I flew from like Portland, Oregon, to El Paso, and then you have to drive from El Paso to Las Cruces, about 45 minutes away. And I was like, please don't let me get lost.
Right? Yeah.
Thank God for Google Maps.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
beats MapQuest.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you remember the MapQuest days.
Oh, yes, I remember them.
Print
well.
everything out on your home printer, and then you go for the ride, and you find out, like, halfway through, the directions
You're on a
completely
dead end.
wrong.
Oh,
You're
wrong,
on a dead
yes.
Like, what are you
Google's
doing?
done that to me. Google's done that to me too.
Right? It's not perfect, but it is definitely getting better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about this dark side of the paranormal, about shadow people. A lot of people have questions about them and why they're different than demons, or just, a negative earthbound spirit, a human discarnate. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, shadow people are kind of like the odd man out. They're a little bit different than, there's different classifications. There's the old demons, and then they're the most powerful and the most intelligent. And then there are the lesser demons who are like hormonal teenagers. All they want to do is have fun and create chaos and destruction. And then there are what I call the minions, which I classify a shadow person as a minion because they're not really a full-fledged demon. They're like a step down from them. They don't travel in packs. Demons travel in packs. The shadow people like their own company. They do not like anybody else in their territory. They're very protective of that. Their territory. Yeah, whether they come into your house or whether you find them in an abandoned building or whatever, all demons have a tendency to stalk the individual that they're looking to attach themselves to. And shadow people are no different. I mean, all demons, whether they're minions or whatever they are, they have the ability to look into your mind. They pull out your preconceived notion of what they should look like, and then they amplify that times 10 to scare the bejeebers out of you. And these shadow people do that as well. They look into your mind, and, most people have their own concept of what a shadow person should look like. And there's usually 3 or 4 different, images, shall we say.
Right.
So they're
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly. And so whichever one that you have in your mind is how they show themselves to you. Either way you look at it, they're nasty little buggers.
It's very similar to alien abduction phenomena, where the information is drawn from the individual.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that time and time again, that they take the information from that person about what they expect the alien to look like, be it a gray or some other form.
Yeah, and they use it against you, basically.
Right.
They project that into your mind, and they make it even worse than your preconceived notion. So a lot of people think that they're actually seeing it, but they're not actually seeing it. They're seeing it in the third eye, not with their physical eye, even though they think they are. That's just the way they work. Telepathy works much better for them. It works better for the dark realm as well as the light realm. Verbal communication they consider is very primitive and very time-consuming and a waste. So these shadow people only have one. They only have one reason to be there, and that's to make your life miserable. What they do is they watch you when they're ready. They start giving you nightmares. They start interrupting your sleep so that you're not sleeping. You'll wake up in the morning when you do sleep feeling like you have no energy, like all the life has been drained out of you. And that's what they like to do over a long, extended period of time. They don't like to rush it. They will draw out the misery as long as they possibly can.
So they're feeding off of that misery, that energy, that
Oh, yeah.
negativity.
And they can kill you. It's, a lot of people think, well, demons and, the minions, they can't kill you, but they can. They can stop your heart.
Oh,
they can reach in and stop it. I mean, I went in on a case up in Battleground, Washington, or I was called in because there was a demonic there, an old demon. And I get there and I know exactly what's there the moment I arrive. So this old demon was hiding out upstairs, and a friend of mine went with me, two of them. He's a ordained minister. Him and his wife came with me. And I told him, I said, I know where it is. It's upstairs. So I started up the stairs, and it tried to push my friend's wife down the stairs. And a little farther up the staircase, it reached into his chest and started squeezing his heart. So he's having huge chest pain. And I saw what it was doing and knocked it away. But, if he had kept going, it could have stopped his heart.
Stopped it completely.
Yeah.
So, we got a question out there, and it's Alex again. He asked, what is their purpose? And I'm going to go with survival, but what do you think?
Well, yeah, their purpose is to inflict as much pain and misery as they possibly can. And to understand why that is, you have to go back to a long time, billions of years ago. We had life on another planet. We had physical bodies on another planet. And it was then that God, or some people call it the greater consciousness, found us. And we were warlike beings. We had a lot of anger, a lot of destructive ways. We were warlike. We had a lot of disease. There was a lot of hate. And God turned that all around and soon got rid of all war, all disease. And in the end, over thousands of years, our whole goal was about amassing as much knowledge as we could. We wanted to see everything that we could, do everything, learn about everything. And we evolved to the point of pure energy. And once we evolved to the point of pure energy, we traveled as a group and to the galaxies. We saw stars being born. We saw planets being born. We saw black holes being created. We saw sentient beings, coming to life. And we did this for hundreds of thousands of years until one day there rose, a lot of the souls said, listen, we've learned everything we can. We've seen everything we can. We want to be physical again. We're tired of this. We want to know love, physical love. We want to have children. This is what we want. We want to experience all that. And Lucifer and his followers said, it's not what we want. We do not want to do that. We do not want to be subject to a shell, to growing old, to disease. None of that. We don't want any of it. And so that started the war. And long before the war, God knew that there would be a problem with Lucifer. It was a matter of when, not if. So he created the Legion of Light, which is comprised of Ariel, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Zebulun. And they, in turn, they were like, if they were in the world today, they would be an elite sniper group, the best of the best. And they, in turn, trained the warrior angels, the ones that would command the warrior angels, and the ones that were in command trained their own. So you have this like huge warrior angel collection. There are billions of them, and they're all to protect, not only to protect but defend and get rid of negative entities. So when Lucifer raised his head and said, "No, we're not doing it," then the war was on, basically. And in the end, Lucifer was disarmed by Michael, and his son was disarmed by Ariel. And God said, I'm going to give you exactly what you want. You're never going to be able to take on physical form, but you can't live among us. You just can't. So he opened up a rift into a dark dimension, and they shepherded him in there and sealed the rift. And at first, Lucifer was fine with that because he's like, you know what? I'm the leader here. I don't care. I don't have to take on a physical form. I'm good. But over the thousands of years, they've grown angry and vengeful, and they just want revenge. So they found ways to get into the physical world and cause problems for humans, because within each human resides a white light soul. And we're the most vulnerable when we're in a physical form. So what better way to get back at us? You're going to turn your world upside down. What they do is they isolate you. They make you think you're going crazy. Your finances go in the toilet. Your health goes in the toilet. Your relationships dissolve. That's how they work. That's their MO. And when they're through with you, they just up and leave, and your life is in ruins. Or either that or you die or you commit suicide. Take your pick.
Right. And could end up an earthbound spirit from there.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd like to remind our audience, too, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, his physics model, the idea of traveling light years is much different than it would be watching it. If you were on a vessel that could approach the speed of light, say, in another civilization, as you mentioned, the distance between the Earth and our nearest secondary star, next star over, something like that, would take approximately 4 years of us observing it for that craft to move from Earth to that star, but it would only feel like a few minutes.
Yeah,
to aboard the craft, you wouldn't.
And people don't understand. On the other side, the law of physics doesn't exist. I mean, when I died and went to the other side, it's like, oh, this is cool. You can be in 1,000 different places at the same time because there is no distance. There is no time. And you're a part of like this huge collective. I don't know, you remember the old days of the party lines where one person would pick up, that one person would be on the line and the other people would be listening in. It's kind of like that, because I could hear all the souls. But over all of that was God's voice. And the feeling of overwhelming love and safety and peace was there. And if you wanted to talk to someone, you just simply focused on that individual person or soul, and you could have a conversation. Otherwise, they kind of remain in the background, like background noise. So it's quite interesting. And one of the things I learned over there is that in their world, thought becomes reality. And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it power. So if your intention is to be in Disneyland, all you have to do is think about it and you're there.
You're there.
You don't. You don't have to move. No planes, thank God.
Walking around the house to get to the backyard. You're just there instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very similar to astral travel, and I think you're talking about a near-death experience. Do you want to tell us?
Actually, I was clinically dead for 2 minutes.
So it's not near.
I was already dead for a couple of minutes until they brought me back. So,
basically dead. What had happened there?
I was riding my motorcycle. I was on my way out. I had just met my husband a few months prior. I was going to teach him how to ride a motorcycle, and I was making a left turn, and a woman ran a red light and hit me on my bike.
Oh.
I was not wearing a helmet.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up flying across the street and ended up against a brick building. And like I said, there was a police officer that saw it happen. He was a couple of cars back. And when I came back to my body, it was like, he was like, oh my God, thank God. He's like, you're alive. He says, you weren't alive. He says, now you're alive. I'm like, yeah. Freaked him out a little bit.
So I take it you did or did not give him those lessons, your husband?
Yeah.
I did, actually. I did. I had two motorcycles at the time.
That's so you got right back on?
Yeah, because I got a skull fracture, which caused me to have amnesia for almost a year afterwards, and I fractured my right radial head, my right arm, lower arm, and but yeah, I didn't remember the accident at the time, at the moment it happened, but I would get flashbacks and finally remembered the whole thing a couple months later. But I still got back on the bike, my other bike, so not a big deal.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not traumatizing.
Don't let that stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Your comments out there. Ken Allen. Hey, Ken. Happy Halloween from the Wizard's Table, baby. That's Conjure, baby.
That's Conjure, baby.
Yeah, we love Ken. He's great. He's going to be on our Dark Horse next week.
This week.
By the way, on Thursday. Yeah. So look for that. Some other things here. Some of these are broken up, and I kind of get a compilation of all the comments and the different feeds. So bear with me. I've been dealing with this forever, says Genevieve. Mm-hmm. They paralyzed us too. Finally figured out how to catch and paralyze them. They don't like it. And then I think we're missing the second part of that, but that's
such
pretty
a hot one.
Yeah, paralyzing the demons. Now you're known as the Demon Seer, and I love that. That is
we do.
A really cool title. How did that come about, and how did all of this come about for you? Were you always clairvoyant, or?
I could always see them, hear them, understand them. When I was about 4.5 years old, how I saw them changed. I used to see them as most humans do, where they were either a mass, black mass, or a fog, or a mist, or something, some creature. But at that time, it changed to where I saw them in their true form. And I asked Michael about that, because Michael had been with me since my birth. And he said, you need to understand that you're seeing them through angelic eyes. He said, you see them as we see them in their true form. And they kind of look a lot like archangels in the way that they're 7 foot tall. They have a 12-foot wingspan, but they're black, and the features are almost non-existent on the face. They're just it's like you rammed silly putty together. The only thing that stands out is the eyes. In the old demons, they're kind of golden color, like candlelight. And when you look into their eyes, it's every evil you could ever think of in the world and beyond. A lot of people report that it hurts them to look into the eyes. Wow. And the lesser demons are not so big, but they have the red eyes, just as the shadow people do. And it's the same thing. You look into their eyes and you see all of the atrocities.
They're one and the same. Maybe the lesser demons and the shadow people are kind of just
different. They're not, shadow people are not really demons per se. They're minions, but the lesser demons are like young, like the old demons are literally like the old people, the ones been around forever. And the lesser demons are the younger generation. And when they evolved, they were younger. And so, and just as unpredictable. That's the bad thing about lesser demons, are very unpredictable.
Interesting.
I'm just wondering
where do I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask her about mental illness.
Oh yeah, where do you think this fits in with mental illness and?
Well, a lot of times, people who suffer from mental illness will end up with an attachment because they're vulnerable. They're very vulnerable, very susceptible to influence. Mm-hmm. And so what the demons look for is they look for people that are easily influenced. They look for people that are either abused or are abusing substances. They look for people who have no sense of belonging, no self-confidence. It's all about, and no faith as well. It's all about choosing their victim. And they look for all of these, they check the boxes off, basically.
Right. I sort of went down a rabbit hole with this the last couple of days, and Kristen and I have been talking about it because I've been looking at things like spirit release therapy, and you see these people with lots of letters in their names, and they have their there are books on these things, and they use it in their practice in the medical field of releasing attachments. And when you start to look into why they get them, I'm like, what you just described is my entire childhood. And Kristen as well for the most part. And I'm like, I probably have like 1,000 attachments. And I'm up all night reading about this stuff last night. You know,
that's why we look like
concerned.
I was going to say, that's why you don't sleep.
Exactly. Like, I got my YouTube algorithm going. I've got my Kindle going, and I'm reading books. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
This is why we don't sleep, people.
1,000 attachments. This is terrible.
It's a fine line, because people say, well, how do you know they're not just mentally ill?
Right.
And I've run across people that are just mentally ill, and you have to handle it very carefully, and you want to not say, well, you're messed up because you're, psycho. You don't do that. You say, well, this is what's around you. You don't have any demons. You have good spirits around you. You have your family that are around you, that sort of thing. You don't want to belittle what they're feeling or what they're think they're seeing and stuff. So, you have to work that way. But my issue is I know the minute I get an email or a picture from somebody, what is there and what isn't there. And 9 times out of 10, unfortunately for me, it's demonic. And that's how people find me, because
the good ones.
The guides and guardians will work away around the demons that are attached and get them help. I had one guy who said, he'd looking for help for 6.5 years and nobody could help him. He tried everything, internet, people, all kinds of things they had him do that were like totally outrageous. And he said, then I was on a site looking for more help. And he said, and your name just literally popped up in front of me.
Wow.
He said, then I started looking for you.
To that end, this was kind of synchronous, because I wasn't thinking about our interview when I went down this rabbit hole. Do you see anything with us?
Yeah.
Candidly.
Yeah, there's nothing there. If there was something there, I would have removed it before we got on.
Well, thank you. But you didn't say anything, and I'm just
nothing bad. No,
maybe a good nap and good night's sleep.
Oh yeah, good night's sleep. A little more coffee. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we have way too much. My heart's racing. I'm about to have a heart attack. I want to ask you. You said about the good spirits around us, and yes, thank you. The good spirits around us and family. Can they shoo away and get rid of demonic or really bad?
They're not strong enough. They're not strong enough. No, we were talking about, a Mack truck versus a Beetle.
Oh, okay.
That's when a person gets an attachment, their guides and guardians will look for ways around the demon. They'll work in the background to try to get them to look at something or get online or listen to something. And then that's how they'll find help. Because if the demons know about it, they'll stop it. And they try to stop it if they can catch them at it. But the guides and guardians are pretty good at moving around them, getting around them, going under their radar.
The lesser, like minion like ones, are they still overwhelming something like a spirit guide or ancestral connection?
Yeah. If it's a creepy crawly or something like that, which are the little minions that climb up the walls and ceilings and stuff, they're the pimps for the demons. Yeah, they are. They'll go out and they'll look for victims, and they'll wait and they'll watch them. And if they think they're a good fit, they'll tell their master, which is a lesser demon or an old demon, and then that demon will watch them and see if they're a good fit, and then they'll attach, or they'll say, no, you idiot, this person's not good. But those little guys, you can, your guides and guardians can get rid of.
I see. Wow. Now, do you draw any distinction with the jinn? Are they a different entity?
No, they're the same, just by a different name. Yeah, they're all the same. Each religion, each country, they all have a different name for the same thing. It's kind of weird. It's, we all come from different countries. We all have different religions. We all have different traditions. And I get emails from India, from England, from Australia, from Netherlands, for help with these entities. So it's like, that I have this jinn attached to me, and I'm like, okay, just send me your picture. We'll take care of business. And I do.
That's awesome. And
yeah, it's interesting. And culture just changes the perspective enough to call it something else.
Exactly. It's like
maybe
UFO.
it looks a little different. I mean, these things are probably coming across, I'm assuming, to you clairvoyantly and clairaudiently, whatever clair it is.
Yeah.
Eclairs.
Eclairs.
In a way that is almost symbolic, and you get the gist of it,
Right.
To
exactly. They come to the individual person as what they believe a jinn would look like. Same type of thing. I just see them as they are in their true form, so they can't hide. And they can't show, a lot of them will try to show me themselves as something else. And it's like, really? Bite me. It doesn't work.
Bite me.
Like that. Get some hellos out there. Hi from Rich and Andrea in Plymouth, Mass.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello, our friends.
How are you?
Those are our new friends.
Yeah, and I see Jeannie. Jeannie says, happy All Hallows Eve, or salmon.
Say it.
Salmon.
New England.
Because we're from New England.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah. Happy salmon. I'm going to Salem. Happy salmon. We're actually supposed to talk like that, but we don't. Whichever you choose. Yeah. Hey, happy Halloween. Yes, we are. Oh, yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. So I've been seeing them since I was a kid. So it's not like it's anything new to me. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought everybody saw these things. That everybody saw them. Everybody heard them. It's not until you get into school and stuff that you realize that if you start talking about things like that, they're going to put you in the loony bin,
We understand that. Yeah.
One thing my grandma told me, she raised me for the first 5 years, and she's like, you need to not talk about this since outside the family. Says, because this isn't the time. It's not accepted. None of this is accepted. I came from a long line of women that have abilities. My grandmother was a psychic medium as well. And she could not see demons. She could sense them, but she couldn't see them or interact with them. Mm-hmm. And she never wanted to tell you the truth. But she helped me learn what she could, because she didn't have the abilities I have, but it gave me a good start in life. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really use them much. I was dumped on my grandparents by my mother. So when my mother came back and decided she wanted a built-in babysitter, it was me. So, yeah. So I was taken back there, and I couldn't talk about my abilities. I couldn't use my abilities. I couldn't do anything like that. So when I was 17, I joined the military and left. I was 2 years in the Army and 3 in the Air Force. And I helped people where I could in there as well.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate that. And that's good to hear, although that must have been hard trying to repress it. And, hopefully you had a few distractions.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of take your mind off.
That's where I got my nurses training and, my EMT training and stuff. But excellent. It's, you come home. That I got out because I didn't want to go to Turkey, So I got out and came home, and then I started helping people by word of mouth. You're talking about long before the internet. We're talking about 1981.
Right.
But word of mouth gets around, And I've been doing it ever since. After I died in the motorcycle accident, Michael Zeri says, this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to, remove the demons. You're meant to kill the demons. He said, Ariel, the archangel soul, resides within you. She was sent back to relive physical world lives until she learns to have compassion for mankind. And I guess in 1198 AD, she ripped the demon out of a woman, and the woman died. And God said, you know what? That's not how we do it. We have no compassion. So he told her, you're going to have to go back and relive human lives until you learn to have compassion. So this is number 131, and I think she's finally got it now. She was a lot of people don't know, what she is. I didn't even know who she was until Michael said, look it up. So the only thing you can find about Ariel is her name means Lion of God, and she's one of the 5 that guard the throne of God. What they don't tell you is she has attitude and that she's a demon slayer and one of the elite members of the Legion of Light. And she has a rough view of humanity. her one saving grace in this lifetime is killing demons. She loves that. Oh, she loves it so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's fascinating that you are gifted with the ability to get that history and have those kind of communications, like right from the start. A lot of people try to communicate to Michael and the guardian angels in general, and it can be a difficult thing to do. And then, you had this from as long as you can remember, from what I can tell.
Yeah. And then, people say, when I do the removal, Ariel comes forward and my consciousness goes to the back. And they say, that they see wings coming out of my shoulders and my eyes turn white, my face and voice change.
That's amazing.
So there are physical manifestations, and people are like, do you know this happens? And I'm like, no, I'm a little busy at the time. Removing a demon, and I haven't got a mirror, so there you go.
Have you ever had it videoed?
Oh, yeah. I have a YouTube channel, and it's on there.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
To let people know that.
What was the name?
Ghost and Girls Paranormal.
Oh, yeah. Ghost and Girls Paranormal. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since we talked.
Yeah. So there's one in there from when I went to Hampton Court in England. I was with my friend Howard Hughes. He does the Unexplained Files. And yeah. And there's some in there from when I removed a demon from one of my para-partners' home, where the demon took a knife and pulled it out of her hand and brought it down and sliced her hand open.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, little exciting things.
So you've classified them, but when you walk into, a scene, you just know right away, like that is an ancient demon. That is an earthbound spirit. Like,
I know what it is. I know its name. I know how it found the individual, and I know what it's been doing to the individual.
You just get like a history kind of thing, like right away.
Yeah, it's almost like a computer download. It just like, bam,
just like
there.
that. Yeah,
yeah.
Interesting.
That does remind me a little bit of dreaming, like when you're in that dream state and you just know a situation.
Yeah,
it's like getting a download. You just know. All right. No,
yeah.
That person.
Some people call it the knowing.
Though I like that, the knowing.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I don't call myself a demonologist because I've met some fakes. And when I was deciding to come out and help people, my grandmother's Irish. So she said, why don't you just call yourself, what we call you in Ireland, a demon seer? Says these are people that can see them, communicate with them, and kill them. Says those are a rarity.
Yeah, especially the killing part. Now, when you say you kill them, are they gone for good? Like that is not coming back? I mean, how does that work with like the ancient ones?
See, that's one of their fears is death. Because, you and I, we die, we come back again, reincarnate if we want or not, depends. And when they're killed, their molecules get spread among the stars. Their existence is gone. Their consciousness is gone. Everything that was them is gone. And like I said before, thought becomes reality in their realm as well as the light realm. So when Ariel comes forward, it's like she's in a different realm of existence. It's almost like somebody's astral plane, astral projecting. She comes forward with a sword and armor, and they don't have guns. They don't have bombs. It's a one-on-one with swords. the angels have white light swords, and the demons have the dark swords made of dark energy, and they do battle. It's hand to hand.
It's as it sounds. Wow.
Yeah.
That is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting. So this kind of idea of moving about and thought intentions being, real and material does seem to play a bit into like quantum physics, right? And a lot of people talk about that, and they talk about things like the double slit experiment, where people observing it changes the way the electrons move through the slits and that sort of thing. So you're seeing this like firsthand on a regular basis.
Oh yeah. Day in, day out. Like this morning.
Is the demon business good?
Yeah, like this morning I got up at 4 a.m. and I started doing remote removals. That's just what I do. I work 5 days a week. I work 11-hour shifts. So, I have Saturday and Sunday off. I get up early. I used to get like 10 to 15 requests for help removals a month. Now I get 25, 30, 35 a month.
Wow.
So I'm having to do that on my downtime.
So you're seeing a trend.
Yeah.
The trend is related to you and like your name being out there, or is there just more activity?
There's more. It's more activity. When this pandemic garbage started, it increased the activity, because if you stop and think about it, there's more fear, more anxiety, more stress, more worry. These are all negative energy, and it draws these things to you like a moth to a flame. And they've been entering our world in droves lately. And they're so desperate to get a leg up on the light that they're just entering in every direction. What people fail to realize is anytime you do an intuitive reading, anytime you do a paranormal investigation, EVP session, spirit board, tarots, it all opens a door to the other side.
Right.
We were just talking about that.
We were literally talking about that on the way over to the studio.
And people do not close. I'm going to swear, people do not close the damn door.
They don't.
Nope.
We have
I'm telling you
as well.
You can swear, it's okay. But
it irritates me. It irritates me because, I'll be shutting all these doors. You're supposed to ask for blessings before you do the communication or before you go on an investigation. And then afterwards, you're going to say, thank you for your protection. Thank you. And close the door.
Yeah.
Don't leave it open because these bad things come in.
And at its crux, you're basically doing necromancy. You're asking spirit, an earthbound spirit, to speak into a radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
A tape recorder, whatever it is. It is exactly the same thing as
it is. Yeah.
There aren't really any differences.
No, it's just a tool.
Mentally, you get a different idea because.
And it's all about, people are like, oh, Ouija boards, they're so bad. They're just evil. No, it's a tool like anything. It's how you utilize that tool that can make it for good or bad. It's just a tool.
Right. It's the person that does it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your intention behind the communication. Oh, I want to summon a demon, or I want to talk to grandma. It's all about that.
Sure. Got a question for you out there from our friend Anne-Marie Young, who we were just in Salem with a few weeks ago.
Yes, we were.
Again, still reveling in that Salem.
I just told her, I just replied to her. I said, I'm kicking myself in the butt for not getting
a witch
grabbing
hat.
a witch hat with her.
Last year's comp. Yeah, we could not find witch hats. We were walking around Salem June, and they're known for having the witch hats everywhere out on tables and whatever reason.
That's weird.
I know.
Many witch hats at all. So the ladies went hatless.
Oh no, that's just mean.
It's just wrong.
It's wrong.
I was in England in 2017. And a friend of mine called me, sent me a text from Florida and says, hey, give me a call. I said, well, I would, but I'm in the UK right now. And she says, oh, there's this woman that needs help. See if you can help her. I said, well, send me your name. And So she sent me the information. So I sent a message to the woman. I guess the woman's having problems with demons. So I sent her a message and then went off to the Tower of London. And when I came back, there was a message saying, I don't normally do this, but something told me that I needed to connect with you. She says, I own a place called The Cage. It was a medieval women's prison for witches.
Oh, my.
And she says, I no longer live there because I can't live there because the demons have literally
taken over,
pushed me out. I mean, they were attacking her every day. She was down to one bed, living in one bedroom. And she had 2 little kids. And I said, well, send me a picture of the location and I'll take it out while I'm on the treadmill. I got to get my treadmill in, come on. Mm-hmm. So she sent me the picture and I removed what was in there while I was on the treadmill. I sent her a message, said, it's gone, don't worry about it. And she's like, well, we've got this famous American psychic coming in tomorrow named Chris Fleming, and he doesn't do negatives. And I told her, I said, well, just tell him it's fine now. All the demons are gone. She can go in. And she texted me back after he had done the walkthrough and said, you're right, there was nothing left. I'm like, yeah, I do good work. Come on.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cleared the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But then she was making money off of it, and she used it to, people would come in, they would pay to go in and do an investigation.
It sounds like it would be pretty haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, you get somebody in there with a spirit board, and they start looking for demons, and you're just going to open the portal again. I had to remove things from there 3 or 4 different times.
Oh, Anne-Marie, that we brought up about the witch hats in Salem, did have a question there. And is there something someone can do to help kill the demons? And I imagine she means aside of calling you, June.
Yeah.
Maybe step one. Where do they?
Usually, a demonologist or a deliverance minister will send the demon back to the dark realm, because that's what they know to do. That's how they do it, because they don't have an archangel inside of them. But there are 8 archangels in the world today, and I know where they all are. And we're the ones that can do that. We can kill them. The humans that are just humans can send them back into the dark realm. But a human that doesn't have an archangel or a warrior angel inside of them cannot kill them.
Is there something they can do to ward them off, or just maybe stop?
Oh, yeah. You can. Prayer is powerful. Invoking the name Jesus Christ and God. Wearing a crucifix with the image of Jesus on it, or if you're Jewish, the Star of David. It's all about what you have absolute faith in. And
ask you that.
Right.
Yeah, this will ward them off. It won't. It'll keep them away from you. But if they're persistent, if they really want you, it's not going to completely stop them.
So you can't necessarily sage them out if sage is your thing.
Oh, God, don't sage. If you think you have a negative entity in your location, do not sage. It will ramp up the activity 100-fold, because 1, they know they're there now. 2, they know you're trying to get rid of them, and they're pissed. So it's not a good thing. If you think you have negative energy, do not sage.
Really much different than hanging a crucifix in your room, or, that's really kind of like talismanic magic in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Using your intentions.
Yeah.
I like sage. I remember this conversation last time.
I think we did talk about that. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. When I started doing the removals, God said to me, he says, you're going to have to protect the individuals who are having the problems while you're doing the removals. He says, I'm going to give you a recipe for black salt. And I had never even heard of black salt. And he said, this is the recipe. This is what you put in it. And I will bless it at each step of the making of it. And Ariel will put her angelic energy into it as well. So I make the black salt by hand. And I've been doing it for 46 years, and it's never failed. You can lay it down in a line around your property to protect your property. It acts like a force field. You can put it in like a necklace, a cremation necklace.
Mhm.
I have a sister group I formed in the UK, and I made them I put black salt in the cremation necklaces and send it to them. And they said they can always tell, they're both mediums, but they could always tell when they're in the presence of the negatives because the necklace heats up. It actually gets really hot when it's protecting. So that's when you know, and it's protecting you.
I could probably use that to warm up food then.
Yeah, probably. It gets pretty hot, almost too hot to wear.
You know,
Yeah,
just
almost too hot to wear.
things that are crawling around me and around these parts.
Oh man, I tell
Might
you,
help.
ants, bugs. I hate bugs.
Yeah, I don't like them either. Right with you.
And it's
That's
like
really cool.
they don't listen. They don't listen. You know,
No.
you've heard the attention span of a gnat. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bugs. They don't listen to me. You know, dogs, cats, horses, they'll listen to me. Cows, but now the bugs don't listen.
We have another question. It's from Genevieve. She asks, how do you close the door? And I think you did cover this. You say
you ask for closure. You can ask for closure on the door. If you ask for the blessing by God for the communication. And at the end, you ask that God close the door and he'll close it.
Okay, thank you.
And Anne Marie mentioned that we got shirts, and yes, we did. And thank you, Anne.
Yes, thank you.
Anne bought us Salem shirts.
Cool.
Pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And, we had a fun day.
Same one.
That's good. Have you been out to New England, June? Have you been out to Salem?
I've been to Connecticut. I have a friend that lives outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and first thing she did was try to take me to a graveyard. I'm like, you really have to see this really old graveyard. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we do have some old ones. Being
Yeah.
the first part of the settled United States, we have some of the older cemeteries in the United States.
Yeah, I was in South Carolina for basic training in the military. There's a lot of cool old churches down there in Columbia,
Sure.
South Carolina. I grew up in Kansas, so there you go. I've been to Texas. I was stationed in Texas in the military. Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yes, again, thank you
For
your service.
Salem is actually bopping right now. I can't even imagine getting close to
Yeah, we went on
I bet.
for the night, and it was so
being
ridiculous.
The 30th now this weekend.
I imagine for the whole month, it's probably crazy.
It is really nuts.
I was going
it's
to
fun.
ask you. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you about elementals.
They're cool.
There you go. I love that answer. Thank you.
Yeah. When I was in England, I went to Scotland, and I went to Edinburgh, and went to the Edinburgh tunnels and stuff, and I have friends over there, and we went and saw the statues of the Kelpies over there, which are massively awesome.
Mhm.
And I went to Roslyn Chapel, and they were hanging around the statues of the Kelpies, and they were hanging around Roslyn Chapel. It was great. I mean, they're just like, little fairy dudes. There's every now and then you'll come across one that's pissy, but that's the way it goes. If you're messing with their forest or their land or their water, they're going to get pissy.
No,
Just don't piss them off, man.
they're tricksters as well, and they're very.
Oh yeah.
No, how do you see them? Do you see them as what we call them as elementals, and do you see differences between like a fairy and
Like
an earth elemental?
Yeah, I see the like the little ones that look like gnomes. I see the fairies, I see the sprites, and they're all just really cool. I see them all individually as their true spirits. So
Wow,
That's fascinating.
I want that gift.
Do they live in families and things? I mean, people
they do live in groups. They live in circles. The gnomes, especially, and fairies, sprites. Yeah, they're all into that. It's all like a cluster, a village, a community. Communities, I guess, is a better word for it.
Now they're not. They don't really live in our 3-dimensional world, right? They
No,
might appear to us as like
Right.
light or something like that.
No, but they can move into our world if need be.
have the ability to move things, like quite
Yeah,
literally.
as you'll find out if you piss them off.
Yeah. I think we piss them off pretty regularly.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
We're in
Things
nature a lot, so
but it could be.
Watch out.
I can't remember where we left things.
right.
I gotta
They're like, they're coming, get out. Run.
We try to be very respectful to them in the forest and everything. We clean it up. We take an extra bag with us, so I think they like us.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah, you have to do
friendly.
that.
There's nothing like nature. And do you see that relevance of grounding in nature, getting out in nature, getting away from the cities? And
Yeah, you have to.
everything?
You have to do that to center yourself, to get rid of all the, you work every day, drive your car to work, whatever. And, you've got all this stuff inside of you, all this stress, everything. It's just, you need time to just decompress and to just think about nothing but relaxing and nature. I have a 3-acre farm, so I live on a farm. And I live maybe 10 minutes away, not even 10 minutes away from 2 rivers. So, and I live like 15 miles away from the forest, and Mount Hood is about, 30 minutes away.
Wow.
So I have it all over the place. I surround it. That's why we bought this farm when my husband and I got married, because we wanted somewhere away from the city. I grew up on a wheat farm in Kansas, so.
Wow.
That's nice. I agree, and that's how we feel. We need to take a nature break, periodically, as much as we can. Really, it's like instantaneous meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail Heisen.
Gail says, "You guys look hysterical. What a fun couple you two are. My Day of the Dead are up everywhere." Well, Gail, you got some Day of the Dead. Yeah, I don't know if it's all on camera, but that is actually my favorite part of Halloween. Is the day after, November 1st, the Day of the Dead, because I think we need to appreciate our ancestors, and I harp on this a lot. And I think respect is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't. It's like when you do an investigation, you don't go in and you provoke. I mean, it'd be like coming into your house and telling you, "Get up, do something." What are you doing here? You don't provoke. Have respect. I mean, that's not your house.
Yeah,
that's right. And you don't know what you're talking to, anyways.
Yeah, the roles
that go into that. Well,
You'd be sorry.
A whole nother topic, but for sure, roles. Do you see that as well? We often theorize about the roles where you see the child in the cemetery and the little girl, is in the cemetery. That little boy. You see the same things. The woman in white. A lot of these same kind of hauntings that people perceive. It's almost like they're stepping into a role, like you had mentioned, that they might be taking that from us, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, you just don't be disrespectful. I mean, they were here long before we were.
Right.
That's, and it's like I told Zach Baggins, I'm like, do not provoke. Do not provoke, because if you do, you have no clue what you're dealing with here. That's what I told him when I was on the show. I said, "You remember the demon that took your sight?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "That's the one that's here."
Right. Well, there you go. There you go. Jeannie says, if you don't get one on with nature, you'll know it. Depression and isolation are your first signs. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, certainly we start to get miserable if we don't get out to the woods, the forests. I love mountains myself in particular, and Kristen loves the beach. I love got to get back to
forest
nature.
and the
so
beach.
Ground yourself. Absolutely important. And have some respect, especially in those cemeteries.
Yes, don't.
You kids that are out there drinking those beers and throwing your beer bottles around and stuff. And it's people like us that go in there and clean it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't.
There you go. Yeah, don't be pissing them off in the cemetery too, because they'll come home with you.
Attach themselves to it. That's correct.
Exactly. Let's see. We get another comment out here. Natalie Mosley says, "The woods near me has a lot of different beings in it. There have been a lot of mining historically, and I feel they're not too happy. Is there something I can do to help them?"
The only thing you can do to help them is plant trees, show respect, Like I said, the best thing to do is to plant trees or to sit down, talk to them, because they're elementals, mostly elementals. They hate that. You just sit down, talk to them, and tell them, I'm sorry this happened. It wasn't me. Man should never have done this. I want you to know that I respect you and I respect the land. And other than planting a tree or a bush or something, that's about the best way.
That's so sweet.
Interesting. And I did want to mention that nobody has emailed us yet. I guess nobody wants money oil. Come on now. This is money drawing oil from Lucky Mojo. I don't know if you're familiar with Lucky Mojo, June, but they are a good quality company. This is something you can put on, like an amulet, a lucky charm, that kind of thing.
Candle.
Take to the casino with you, anoint a candle. Money drawing oil from and the hoodoo.
Yep, it's Hoodoo Voodoo.
Hoodoo. Lucky Mojo.
Lucky
if
Mojo.
You guys email us at bigfootandthebunny@gmail.com. First person emails us, we'll get it. So just leave that right there. We'll announce the winner next week. Little tiny bottle of oil. But no, it's kind of cool. And anything free is fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is Halloween. It's trick or treat. What do you do for Halloween, Jim?
Me? I live out in the boonies, so I never get trick-or-treaters. We used to go as a family. They have what they call the Boo Cruise. And it's a cruise up and down the Willamette River. It's like a couple hours, and they party the whole time. They have everybody dresses up. They have dinner there and live bands. All kinds of things.
That sounds fun.
But you haven't been able to do it last couple of years. Big surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it seems like things are just starting to get out there. I expect we'll probably have some trick or treaters this year, as opposed to last.
Hope so.
But it's part of it, I guess, is just age, and I don't know if the culture's changed, but Halloween was just such a special holiday when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to call this our Halloween special, because we had things like that. We had it was Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin, or something like that. It was like, ooh, there's a TV special on, and it was like something to get excited about. I don't know if people, the younger generations, care.
Probably not, because of the internet and everything, and
It's not like it used to be.
No.
Yeah, right. Pre-internet, we just didn't have a lot. So
everybody couldn't wait to dress up, couldn't wait to get a costume.
Exactly.
You take your pillowcase and you go out trick-or-treating.
Yes.
It was a big to-do for us as kids. And if somebody did their house up with lights or, a fake cemetery in the front or something like that, it was like, wow.
Yeah. That was always cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. Like,
that's part
now
of
I think people are like, unless you're really into it, they don't do it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of people out this way that are really into it. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I put decorations up, but like I said, we're so far out in the boonies that we don't get any kids for trick or treat. We lived here 33 years.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. One of the things you talk about is curses, and I saw while I was rabbit holing, I guess, is that a word? Rabbit holing on this. Hey, we're Bigfoot and the Bunny. I had to be careful what I say here.
Yeah.
Rabbit holing on that about generational curses, where it had something to do with like the people, the ancestors, when they would pass, they would come back on kind of their own family. Now, I had never heard of that before.
No, I've never heard that. It's not like, people think of curses, they think, oh, Hollywood, but what usually ends up happening is one of two things. Usually a person dies and they are wronged in such a way that they believe that, you ruined their life and I'm going to ruin your life. And they won't cross completely. They'll stay earthbound. And they will make that person's life a living hell. And then when that person dies, if they're pissed off enough, they'll go on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. That's one of the things a curse is. And the other one is a demonic attachment. Plain and simple. You feel like you've got a black cloud hanging over your head. Nothing goes right. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're a jinx. You feel like you're cursed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what do you think about people placing these curses on other people? Is there intent moving a demon to curse a person, or
it can, I've run into a couple of cases where one of them was guy had his own business, and one of the women there wanted more money, and she was making the same as everybody else. And she said, you're going to be sorry about this. I'm going to go see the bruja. So essentially what she did was she went to the bruja, paid him money to summon a demon and stick it on this guy. And so she just walks away scot-free. And I'm like, and he got a hold of me. He found me, got a hold of me, and told me what was going on. I said, no. We're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to take that demon and we're going to put it back on the bruja and see how he likes it. And that's exactly what I did. And I don't think he liked it at all.
No.
It's probably still with him to this day. It's like, don't, do unto others. Are you doing to others? I'll just do unto you. I'll give it back to you.
Exactly.
All right. So that's one way to go. Yep. We've got an email from a couple of Gails.
Yep.
Gail Hyson, and it looks like Gail Fidelia, you have won the Lucky Mojo money drawing file.
Yay.
And Gail Hyson, thank you for the Day of the Dead stuff.
Yes. Thank you,
Check
Gail.
that out. So thank you.
So
appreciate that. I love the concept of the Day of the Dead, and that, like a Memorial Day type thing for remembering family, friends that we've lost.
Yes.
And respect. Yeah, we actually want to make sure it's the kind of Day of the Dead.
Yeah, they're never really gone anyway. They're here, just in a different form.
Now, how are you with seeing that kind of thing? I've had people come in to us about certain relatives that are around us.
Oh, yeah.
See that kind of thing going on? And see this?
Yeah, dead people. It's no big deal.
It's just dead people.
It's just people in another. I was in Astoria, and I went to this haunted location, and everybody was trying to tell me about the guy that was haunting it and stuff, and I'm like, no, that's not what he says. I told the dead guy, I said, his name is William. I said, well, they're saying you're a ghost. He says, I'm not a ghost. I'm a displaced individual. I thought, that's really cool. I like that.
I love that.
Now, you mentioned the archangels a lot. So I imagine when people say something like, I need to cross them over into the light. Do you think the light is heaven? What is the light to you?
Yeah, the light is basically the doorway to heaven, to the white light realm. So when you cross somebody over, you just create a white light tunnel in your mind, and you tell the individual soul, run, do not walk to the light, and you'll find your loved ones on the other side. And 99.9% of the times they'll go.
Have you ever had to call into the light to have some of them come out to take someone?
No, not really.
They just go. They feel it.
If they don't go, I send them.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that was an option on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is an option if they're causing problems in the physical world. If they're like haunting their daughter, or their son, their husband, whatever, and it's not because of something the other person did, but they just felt like, I'm going to get back at you for whatever. So I tell them, you know what, you have to go.
I heard an interesting story, and this kind of speaks to not all attachments are bad.
Right.
In this rabbit hole experience, as I'm calling it, right? With the spirit release therapy, and that being of a little girl that had attached to a father in a hospital while his second daughter was being born, maybe 3 or 4 years old. She had died in the hospital, as it turned out, as they were able to figure out. And she saw him as a father figure and attached, to his maybe ethereal energy. And I started to experience anxiety and different things after. And that's what it turned out to be. So they had to cross her with like in a compassionate way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's if they're, I've sent so many, crossed so many over, and there's a lot of people will get attachments. And like one lady, she's like, I have this attachment. And she says, I don't know what's wrong with me. She says, I don't drink, but I'm always feeling like I need to drink. I need to drink. It's like every time I turn around, I'm thinking about alcohol. And she ended up having a woman attached to her who died from an alcohol overdose.
Wow.
I said, once I sent her home, then the craving stopped.
And that was something that was new for her.
Yeah, they can influence you. You
manipulate you.
Yeah, you don't even realize you pick one up. I mean, you could just be walking down the street, and maybe you look like somebody they know, or maybe you look like somebody that could help them. If you've got abilities, they'll know that, and they'll follow you to try to get help.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say to you. When we're out in the field, mostly we get help me.
Mm-hmm.
So
or get out.
Or get out, yeah.
Those are the two
Mostly,
most common
Oh, yeah.
keys we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, feast or famine.
Like, what's up
Either
with
they
that?
love you or they hate you.
Everybody seems to be a cause for mental illness, schizophrenia going right there, or multiple personality.
There you go.
And a ton of
sure.
like help me's, and then as we're leaving at the end, we were in the graveyard as we were leaving. This was really weird. We were standing at the edge, and Chris says, "Oh, I just saw like an apparition."
I did. I saw a gray figure, kind of just in my peripheral, right next to what we were kind of focused on, which was a clump of branches, and it was a break in the cemetery wall.
Yeah.
And as I saw that, I was clear enough for me to mention it because I see stuff in my peripheral all the time, but I don't always comment on it. But I was like, I could make out his head.
He goes, "Did you see that? It's
shoulders,
a man."
I see this gray figure, and I'm talking about it, and it's in our recording. And then the thing we're looking at, this like clump of branches,
with
burst
the vine.
open, and they all went, like
and
they
I was standing right in
had
front
been
of
all
that.
bent back or something. They all went, and in the same moment in the recorder, we got a "Get Out" EVP. There's a voice that goes, "Get out." What do we do?
It must have been pissed.
Yeah, I guess he didn't want us there.
No, but what he did with the vines in front of us, I was standing right there, and it kind of scared me. And I go to Chris, I'm like, "Tag, you're in. This is not my thing. I'm leaving.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Tag, you're in.
I said, I'm out.
So that was too weird.
Scared the hell out of me.
It was just like, in front of us, and
okay, yeah.
And we played it back, and it was
they get a little upset sometimes. I had one that I live literally on the Oregon Trail, and sometimes a soul can go into like shock, and they will wake up suddenly. And this woman was from the days of the Oregon Trail, and it's like she woke up. It's like she was in delayed shock or something. She came, sitting in the living room, and she's like, "I'm looking for my son. I'm looking for my husband." And I could tell by her dress that she was not from this era. And I'm like, "They're not here." I said, you're looking at least 100 years. No. I said, "They're probably on the other side. They're probably dead." No. Her son died of smallpox. And then she died from it as well. But the husband survived. And she was looking for them. I told her, I said, you don't understand. Look around you. Notice that this is not the dwelling that you're used to. And she got really mad at me, and she just ran right through me. I hate that when they do that. Get that weird tingly sensation. It's like, stop that. So she came back a few days later and said, "You're right. I want to go home." And I said, "Okay." So I just created a tunnel, and she went home. Her son and husband were waiting for her.
So you create a tunnel.
Mm-hmm. You create a white light tunnel in your mind.
You
can see it. Yeah, you visualize it, and it becomes reality. Remember, a thought can become reality.
Right.
And for them and where they are, it becomes reality.
Yeah, for this and any kind of work like it, I imagine you're putting a lot of intention into that. You're not just seeing it, but you're really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Detail and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because we wondered if we crossed a spirit ourselves.
Yeah, we have read up on rescue mediumship at the time, And
You're getting all these help.
we definitely had a child spirit, or what appeared to be, because he was talking to us multiple times, same voice, same age, same answers to questions and stuff, through a spirit box at a particular location. And he was 7, and we crushed up. Well, you did that part.
Yeah.
Candy.
I actually went to Lucky Mojo.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of herbs and things, and I crushed up
belated
candy, and
children,
I blessed everything, and
we let a trail right out the way,
open the gates.
Certainly put our intention into walking him through those gates and getting him out of there.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Like gates.
Yes.
If they're willing to go, then that will do it. It's when you get ones that are not willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll stay because they want to wait for their loved one. Or in other times it's because they want revenge on somebody who killed them or something like that, which is not a good thing.
No.
But as long as they stay in their physical mentality, they'll be seeking revenge. But once they ascend, that all goes away. But you got to get them. You got to get them to ascend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we were taking.
Go to light.
Yeah.
They're like, no way.
Get in there.
It's like, screw you. I got things to do.
Let's go to we. So get out.
Right.
There you go.
You hang around and haunt people all day, get a job.
That's what I tell my spirits. If you're gonna stay here, you need to help. You need to help out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Take care of some of that laundry over there.
There you go. Make yourself useful. Come on.
That's what I tell them.
I was told by a friend during her mom dying that you should not walk toward the light, but rather fast, quick, go right through the light. Is that kind of speaks to that comment? Don't walk, run to it.
You run. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Jeannie says all spirits are not bad. And,
No, more good ones than bad. Thank God.
Robert
Thank goodness.
says, good afternoon, my friends. Our friend Robert Riggy out there.
Robert.
Hey, Robert. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So, crickets.
Oh, yeah. I got a button for this.
We got crickets.
So that's what happens when I forget to say something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should say something, and all I say is crickets. This is great.
So,
yeah.
What else what's coming for you, and what's the next thing? I think you were working on a new Demon Seer book. Is that happening?
Yeah. It's I'm finishing the last 50 pages of the editing. I had to revamp it because it was, when I wrote it initially, it was written from a point of view where people that knew something about the paranormal would be able to follow it. Mm-hmm. But people that didn't know anything about the paranormal, they would be kind of lost. So I revamped the book so that anyone can read it and get something out of it. I just simplified it, but it should be out December. And the second book of the Demon Seekers series will be out in December. It's called Demon Seekers Into Darkness, and it takes place in England. The climax of it takes place in Stonehenge.
Oh, wow.
I've been there a couple of times.
No kidding.
I thought it would be a good location.
How did that feel?
How's the energy? Yes.
What's that like?
It's cool. You can't go up and touch the stones anymore. So I took my sandals off and did psychometry with my feet, and then you can see all the things that happened. It's like a time, like a movie. You can see it from one point to the next. It was quite interesting.
Do you know how they built them?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Come
on.
They did it like the Egyptians did with the weights and measures. Mm-hmm. And I could see them using logs and other stones and ropes. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think they rolled them along on the logs.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. And I just put your list of books out in our chats so people can look those up. Are they available on Amazon? Is that the best place?
Oh, yeah. Amazon has either printed or ebook. Yeah.
Paranormal Discovered. Just wanted to say hi from the Wales, UK.
Hi.
Great Britain, enjoying listening.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, sir. Or ma'am.
Prefer.
I couldn't tell.
Either or.
Thank you.
But thank you. Yes.
So you're finishing up the next Demon Seer. Being that as a kind of moniker for yourself, what is that first book really like? What are people getting when they get that? Are they learning how the demons work in their hierarchy? Are they learning how to get rid of them? Or
what the first volume is Demon Seer, The Awakening. And what it does is it talks about how the demons are influencing people in the world today, how they work, what to look for, the people that are being manipulated, the people that are utilizing demons for their own good.
Purpose.
Yeah. There are some really good chapters in there on protection, and the other ones on how to help yourself and where to find help.
Okay.
And I've got links in there I talked to Keith Johnson.
Cool.
And they're going to be, they want to put their links in there. So I'm putting their links in there.
Keith and Sandra?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the Archbishop of the Order of Exorcists of St. Michael's, Ron, he wants his links put in there. So I've got several people that with their links and stuff and how to connect with them if they're having problems. And of course, my own stuff. So
that's really amazing.
Great. So that sounds like a good place for people to start that are interested.
Yeah.
If people want to develop as a medium, I see you got a book as well, the Medium's Guide to Paranormal, I think is.
Yeah. That's where I tell people mostly to start because it gives a lot of basic information covers everything from ghosts to demons to, past lives, things like that. It took me a year to write it and I published it in 2009. And I wrote the book because God said, I want you to write a book. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He says, I want you to help people to understand that I do hear their prayers, but I give them what they need, which is not necessarily what they want.
Well, my aunt had said that to me. My Aunt Hazel, you're going to pray, say what you want or need and not what you want. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she told me that she had schizophrenia and I believe it wasn't really schizophrenia.
It could, sometimes it's past lives coming, something will trigger them in the present lifetime and the past lives will come forward. Like the 3 Faces of Eve, it's all about past life stuff. If you just, put the past lives back where they belong, you'll be okay. You have to find somebody that does that.
Right.
Hypnosis is very fascinating to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are uncovering these things through a hypnotic state, getting in a trance state, and being able to almost speak to their subconscious and have it come out. But you go more or less see these things through the kind of download method.
Yeah, it's cool. It's people come to me and they're like, "What was I in my past life?" And I'm like, "This is what these are the ones that stand out." Okay, I'm not going to give you a list of every one of them, but these are the ones that stand out. These are the ones you're having problems with in this lifetime.
That's fascinating. And do they cause problems a lot of times?
They do.
More than
examples. My husband, he has an absolute fear of drowning. He's never even had a slip in the bathtub in his entire life. And one night, 3 nights in a row, he had a dream that he was on board the Arizona. And he was walking through water like you walk through air down in the rec room. And he said the big topic of conversation was, why didn't they come for us? Because, they entomb those men down there.
Yes.
Pearl Harbor, we're talking
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor. And then he says, the next thing I know, I'm up on the monument. I'm running my finger down to find my name. And when I find my name, I wake up. Well, this is a man, if you can't touch it, feel it, or see it, it doesn't exist. So for him to say this, it's something. So he says, get me a list of the men that died on the Arizona. I'm like, okay. There were 18 pages of men that died on the Arizona.
Oh,
Page number 13, he says, this is it. this is who I was. I looked at the name, and the name was Raymond Arthur Roby. I named my son after my grandfather, Ray Arthur.
Oh,
there's
wow.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
It's synchronicity.
No, I agree with you. I agree. There's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, because he's deathly afraid of drowning. I mean, he can't even go if his feet don't touch in a pool. He ain't going. It ain't happening. He'll clear that pool out.
That does seem to be how the universe works. It seems to give us, again, what you need and not necessarily what you want as well. And the things that just show up and the way our intention.
And if the person comes back quickly, like he died in 41 and came back in 45, so that's like 4 years. It's almost no time on the other side.
Right. Do you find that there's a steady time? Like is it more consistent time, I guess, that people?
Yeah, I think if you wait 100 years before you come back, it's not such a hard. A lot of things don't have a tendency to pull over with you, but if you come back in 5, 10 years, 50 years, you got all this past stuff that comes back with you. See, we have a lot of baggage as humans.
Yes, we do.
We sure do. And I wonder about that because of what we were talking about, I think at the front of the show, with the astral travel and the near-death experience, where time isn't relative. It's not the same way that we perceive it as humans through our 5 perceptions in this 3D world.
Right.
It's just more instantaneous. If you think it's there. So for time
it's like looking at timelines.
A blink of an eye, or just the will to wait 100 years.
Literally, yeah. It doesn't the war was fought for what would be 1,000 of our years, and over there it was a couple of days. I mean, it's like there's that perception. Do you think, in your opinion, if you die and you have all these attachments, say with attachments, will they be with you? Will you bring them back?
That's a good question. Yeah.
No. So what usually happens is if a person has demonic attachment and they die, 9 times out of 10, an angel is sent to get rid of the demonic attachments and to bring the white light soul home.
What happens if they have just attachments in general, like, not earthbound?
Human attachment?
Say human, yes.
Earthbound, yeah. Those ones are also taken home separately. Yeah.
So they disperse. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I imagine there are probably times where they don't necessarily go into the light and they stay earthbound.
Yeah, I was called up into one in Oregon, La Grande, Oregon, and this lady says, well, my friend that I was staying with says, I got a friend, she's got to have issues. And so I'm like, okay. So I went to her house and I'm like, oh, there's a guy here who's stuck. So I went into she opened the door. I said, I need to go and see this person. Then he was sitting in a recliner, and he told me that he said all of a sudden he had a pain in his chest. Next thing he knows, he's waking up, and his son and daughter-in-law are talking about renting the house out. And he doesn't know what's going on. And then he finally figures out that he's dead because they can't see him or hear him. And I told him, I said, what happened was you went into kind of shock. I said, if you were human, I'd say you passed out in shock. I said, when you woke up, all this stuff was going on. I said, and your chance to go to the light, because at the moment of death, you see the light. I said, that was gone. Now we need to help you cross into the light. And at first he didn't want to go. And I said, listen, you've gotten rid of a lot of renters because you didn't like the way they took care of your house. I said, do you like the way this couple is taking care of your house? And he said, yes, they respect it. I said, good. Then you have no reason to stay. I said, your wife's waiting for you. I said, your parents are waiting for you. It's time for you to go. And he did go.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool.
Is that from YouTube? This one up here.
I don't see it, but the battle of good and evil. And you spoke of it in a kind of a biblical sense. Is it solely that way, or do you think it's something the way you perceive it with your upbringing to be the angels and the group of angels, and when you say Lucifer, you're talking about the biblical Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer's real. I talk to him off and on. He usually wants something from me when Ariel talks to him. But like I said, it is spiritual warfare is just that way. It's the fight between, we're kind of stuck in the middle, and it's the fight between the dark ones and the light ones, and we're kind of stuck in the middle, and the dark ones are, abusing us, so to speak, and the light ones are trying to save us and help us. So it's never ending. It's a vicious cycle.
It seems like a never ending thing whenever we talk to anyone about it. Yet you wonder, is there a way that just hasn't been written yet to patch things up?
Right.
And
yeah, I wish I could say, that would be good. But people always think too that, demons are just all bad, but they're not all bad. There's a little spark of light in each and every one of them. And sometimes that light will be ignited. And most of the time the demons will squelch it, and, because they don't want to go back to the light. Other times, other times it will grow. They'll actually grow. I had this happen a few years back when I removed an old demon. And he was... I removed him, sent him home, and then he came back. And when he came back, he looked me up and he says, and he was gray. He wasn't black. He was gray. And I said, what happened to you? And he said, I let the light grow. He says, what I want to do, I'm coming to you because I want you, Ariel, to go to Lucifer and ask him, I want to be a bridge between the living and the dark. He says, I want to help the living by being this go-between. He said, will you ask Lucifer? And I said, well, yeah, I can ask Lucifer. So Ariel called Lucifer to her, and she told him what I'll call the guy Herb. I won't use his demonic name.
Thank you.
I said, Herb wants to do this. What do you think? And he's like, I have to talk to the old demons and find out the rest of them and find out what's, if they'll approve of it. So a couple of days later, he got back to me and said, yeah, they approved it and he can go ahead and start doing it. So it was kind of interesting. I see him from time to time. He comes by to ask for help or advice, that sort of thing. But he is trying to help.
I mentioned the biblical names because these demons run through lots of different other cultures, right? We were talking about Middle Eastern culture and the jinn,
right?
But there's also like Aztec demons and Chinese demons. History. Are we talking about the same set of characters?
Yeah, same set of characters.
Mask, if you will, or perceived slightly differently?
Yeah, like Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. Men and women play many parts. They wear many masks. So there you go.
Yeah, Neil Peart put that in a Rush song as well.
Did.
We really like Rush, so
we love Rush. That's our band.
We talk about them often.
Yeah,
but it's the same players, different names.
It's interesting.
No matter what you call them, by a spade's a spade, whether you call it God, whether you call him Jehovah, whether you call him Buddha, whether you call him, Shiva, whatever you call him, greater consciousness, it's all the same.
Sure. And did you perceive those, the ancient demons as goetic demons? Mm-hmm. Are they kind of one and the same, or they're
one and the same, yeah.
No kidding. Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, they've been around too long, that's for sure.
So those are the older demons that you were talking about.
Sure, like out of the Blessed Key of Solomon.
Yes.
Yeah. The old ones we're not worth their time and energy 99% of the time. The only time they'll come into the physical world is if they are doing something for a job for Lucifer, or if they're trying to seek revenge on somebody where the soul has been reborn, and they're like, oh, they're reborn, they're vulnerable, I'm going to get them.
It sounds like they're looking for something to do. Like they got the time on their hands. They don't have the sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. They have a lot of time on their hands, unfortunately.
That's what makes them rather nefarious, really, to man.
Yeah.
Just maybe all that free time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them the same thing we tell the spirits in Kristen's house: get a job.
Yep. Get a job.
There you go. Help out or something. Make yourself useful.
At the gas station, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need matches with those? Yeah, oh, yes. That's what, yes, I do. Thank you.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And you had another book we wanted to talk about as well. Paranormal Encounters 1 and 2. What are those about?
Those are my real life paranormal encounters.
Ooh.
You know, people like to read about that sort of thing. I have another book in the works called Dark Encounters, and it's basically a compilation of a lot of the bigger dark encounters that I've been through.
What are some of the places that you were investigating?
One of them was, like I said, one of them was the Cage. The other one was Hampton Court, Tower of London, Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that.
You know, the Dax Haunted Museum.
Oh.
How was that for you? Tell us about that a little bit, if you don't mind. The haunted objects. We like haunted objects.
Michael came to me a couple years ago and he says Vegas. I said no. and he says Vegas. I said no. I said, why do I want to go to Vegas? He said, because this group of old demons are creating a dark portal. And then I said, okay. And he says, it's not just any place. What they're doing is they're getting this person, who shall remain nameless, to bring in all of these objects which have old demonic attachments and negative entity attachments. You stop and think about it. You bring them all into one location.
Sure.
And then you create a dark portal. And you let the old demons in from the dark realm.
And you give tours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they release them into the world. And they release the demons that are attached to all these objects, including the Debek box. So I was like, I knew I couldn't really do it with everybody in there because the place is packed. So I just stood outside and did it. It's quite easy. And then when I went inside on a tour, make sure that nothing was left behind. So it was clean.
So they're not
haunted. But now he's bringing in more stuff.
Yeah.
So you were able to take the consciousness anchor out of those objects?
Mm-hmm.
So
they're no longer haunted objects anymore? Uh-oh.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Oh, I'm sure he's brought plenty with him. You know, he's been buying up things. I heard something about James Dean's axle or something like that he was acquiring.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Some different objects. But I told Gabe, I said, the only reason I'm going is because the portal. I said, I'm not coming back again once it's efficient.
And did the portal close by removing the consciousness from those inanimate objects?
I pulled all the demonics from the objects and shoved them in the dark portal and closed the dark portal.
Okay. Excellent. I was going to say you don't put them in like a box or anything, or
that's not going to help. No.
Packages.
Tennessee Wraith Chasers. You can't catch a demon except for in an infinity orb.
What is that?
What are those?
It's an infinity orb that I can create through aerial. That's made of white light energy, and it's kind of like a Pokeball. You know, you throw it, and it encases them in it, and then it takes them down to the dark realm, and then it just breaks open and lets them in there.
Wow!
I want that.
Yeah, a lot of people want that.
Can we have a couple of those?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think we could use it.
Yeah, we could do that.
Seriously,
got a couple of them. Just cut an attachment from my house. We were deep into
At
the
least
AM
one.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one where I actually could see it, and that's a big thing
And
for
it's
me.
so
I don't
cool.
see a lot. Yeah, my son saw it as well, and we saw it differently, but it was definitely dark, and it was definitely there.
A minion.
And
A
that
creepy
was,
crawly, like you said.
Oh, the creepy crawly dudes. Yeah, they're a pain in the rear.
He was a walking actually for Logan, and he actually saw him walking when he opened the front
Said he had
door.
like 6 legs or something, or
No, they were very long.
they were just long legs.
Yeah, they can be long and spindly, or they can be like
Regular
paper-like.
candy.
Yeah,
But the legs were
yeah.
much longer
They're-
than thumb.
They can turn into anything you want. They like to turn to spiders for me because I hate spiders.
Oh my lord! Yeah.
But
You know,
it's like, you know what? I can see through your disguise, so bite me. You know?
Yeah,
it.
bite me, Alex.
Yeah, I love that word. Keep saying it. That term.
It's just like, really, I don't care.
One of the things we've been exploring is panpsychism, which is a philosophy that consciousness can exist in the matter, no matter what that matter is. It can be the inanimate objects. It does kind of give an explanation as to why you could have a haunted clock, for instance.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
Or, well, you know, or you'll go into a used store, you know, and you'll be handling things, and say you pick up somebody's watch that was donated or whatever, and the person, you know, it could have been that person's favorite watch, and they didn't want to leave it behind, so they attached themselves to the watch.
And there's a little bit of consciousness in it.
Yeah.
Or it can be habitated maybe for a time and then released and then habitated again.
Right.
And I find that fascinating because we're all kind of made of the same materials. Our
Right. It's like when we die, when our physical body dies, all the memories, all the consciousness, that lifetime's knowledge and experience is transferred into the soul consciousness. So you never really die.
It's a separate thing, like a separate entity. So again,
Right.
the thoughts having weight or having a soul, like that's all mental, right? So
Right.
there's no physicality to it, yet we're all
Right.
made of the same stuff like carbon and
Yeah.
whatnot that kind of makes up our world. And it's really not that many things. So it's kind of why you almost need like a philosophy, like how can this even exist? There has to be more. It can't be just a materialistic world,
Right.
which would
Right.
be just about those ingredients.
Right.
What is this consciousness thing, and how does that fit in?
Yeah. The soul consciousness is the keeper of all of these lifetimes. You know, all the experiences. They don't keep like every single minute. They keep the important things, the big things, the births, the deaths, you know, becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, you know, experiencing cancer or death experience, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
The big things.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that consciousness can exist or does exist in our animals as well. I know you work a lot with animals, and I think we talked quite a bit last time you were on the show about the spirits of animals, because that's another fascinating thing. Now, do you think that their consciousness, the way the cat, dog feels in your family home, whatever it is the same as a human consciousness, or do they just have a different perception because they have different senses, or some are?
The only time they have a different perception is when they're in the physical body. But once they leave that, it's the same as you and I. You know, I have a friend who lost his dog September 25th. And he's like, it's like his right arm. I mean, they are so connected, it's ridiculous. And he's empathic, and is a medium. And once the dog crossed, I told him, I said, just keep talking to him. I said, just call his name and you'll keep in connection with him. And sure enough, he did. And he's been with him, and he comes to visit me and stuff. And I told him, I said, he's coming back. He's coming right back, literally. And he was born 3 weeks later.
And you knew
so, I knew it the moment he was born. And his consciousness from the last body, all that consciousness folds right into the next body because it's so quick. The return is so quick. And, you know, he's bouncing around all over the place.
Wow. That's interesting.
Each one of my dogs that dies, I see their soul leave their body. And I know exactly when, I know when to look for them. I know when they're coming back. I keep in connection with them. And then the moment they stop, they'll stop talking for a day or two when they're being reborn. But after that, you can still talk to them.
Now,
and so then I start looking.
I thought you were done. I apologize.
That's
I was just going to say that consciousness, is it trying to go from dog to human and working up a chain, or is it always happen to be a dog, or can it be?
It can come back as a human if it chooses to. Because remember, on the other side, there's no body.
Okay.
And the consciousness is all the same. Whether it's dog, whether it's cat, whether it's turtle, whether it's human, it's all the same. The energy is all the same.
That's really interesting. We didn't think it was like that.
Yeah.
And you just choose to come back as a dog, or say you want to experience life as a hippo. Then you come back as a hippo, or an ant, or a dog, or a cat, or or a platypus, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you get tired of that, and you're like, okay, I'll come back as a human this time. It's not as good as a dog, but it'll work.
Is it kind of like getting like an old beat up car versus a new car?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Kind of. It's like, yeah, okay. It's like, yeah. And a lot of souls prefer to be a dog or a cat over a human.
Especially these days.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of my cats all the time.
So am I.
Too.
So, yeah.
They have experience a level of comfort that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I am so jealous of.
Nirvana, and that's it.
Yeah. Mine, I have 2 pit bulls and an old Springer that's going on 15, and they're all spoiled rotten. So there you go.
Yep.
Spoiled rotten.
Oh yeah, we love our fur babies, no question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that one of our cats was reincarnated to one that was just born not too long ago.
Yeah, that can be. Mm-hmm.
Has the same mannerisms, but it's a girl.
Yeah.
Instead of a boy, and does the same things. So.
Yeah, doesn't matter. My Springer that I have is the fifth time she's been back with me.
So much.
And my 2 pit bulls are the 2 Dobermans sisters that I had before.
Oh wow!
There you go.
They have the same body build, same mannerisms. They even answer to the same names.
Wow.
Even though I don't call them that, I gave them new names.
Right.
Yeah.
But you feel that's the same soul, and it's come back.
Yeah.
It enjoys being in your company. It's like your family.
Right. They love you. They'll come back to you. Yeah.
Continues on past the exit points.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. I think we were talking a little bit about that last time, and about our cat Freddie that had passed. He got attacked by a dog.
That was terrible.
It was pretty horrifying. Yeah. We're hoping he would come back. So we missed that little guy.
Oh yeah.
Hey, maybe.
And I think I have him.
You might.
Yeah.
We have cats between us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may well, because if they love you, they'll come back. I mean, who else is going to spoil them rotten like you do?
Right. That's right.
Or put up with her.
They're not.
Put up with them. Yeah, their naughtiness. Yeah.
I call them all home wreckers. They just wreck everything. Chris knows. Oh my God. It's bad. But yeah, they're cute and I love them. So
yeah,
they're good.
I have some. If anybody out there, viewers, listeners would like some.
Want a cat?
A kitten and a cat. That's All right. Pulling that button out, Courtney. And
you got one right here. But where's the best place for people to find you, June?
They can go to my website, mysticconnections.org.
Okay.
Or demonseer.com. They both kind of funnel into the same website. And I'm on Facebook as June Lundgren or Demon Seer, and Twitter, Instagram, that sort of thing.
And all the social media platforms out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you expect Demon Seer 2 to be out?
Demon Seer 2 probably won't be out till next December.
Oh, okay. So you're going to take a little bit more time with that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because this is about awareness in the dark of the dark. The next one is awareness of the light.
Oh. Gotcha. Well, that's fascinating. No, we love this, and we appreciate you coming on to talk with us. and for our Halloween special. And I hope it is a special Halloween for yourself, June, and everybody out there and everybody in chat.
And we wanted to say congratulations to Gail Fidelia for winning the money drawing oil.
Money drawing oil.
I've already sent her a Gmail back. So
great.
Get that right out.
Get that out to you. Thank you. See that?
Chickadee. Well,
that's pretty cool.
I'm going to go eat the 40 pounds of candy with my son that we bought a little while ago.
Yeah, we're doing our own trick or treat at home. So we're going to enjoy that. But thank you, everyone. We appreciate it, especially you, Jim, for joining us on this holiday weekend. And it is a holiday. I don't care what anyone says.
That's right.
You know, I love it. Don't forget about Monday, November 1st. And remember your ancestors. And next week, we've got Dark Horse Paranormal Podcast on Thursday. We have Ken Allen coming on, occultist Ken Allen, and Robert Riggy will be joining us on Bigfoot and the Bunny on Saturday.
Yes.
So, thank you, guys. And
thank you so much.
We will see you next time.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.